So good morning, everyone. We have the amazing Shiggy online with us this morning, and we're looking at living the life that we love. And somebody asked me last week, can everyone go on mute until they're invited in so we can keep the sound really good quality? So somebody asked me last week, do you feel you're doing what you really want to do? And I said, well, it's getting a bit late if I'm not. Yeah. And I think you get to that phase in your life when you think, hang on, this life has got to be the life that I love, because time is ticking and it's time I made some really courageous decisions about what I'm going to do, who I'm going to do business with, and how I'm going to live my life. So yes, I would say hand on heart, I'm living the life that I love, but it's taken me a long while to get there. So I would love you to introduce yourselves to Shiggy from that perspective. So I'm going to come to Lorna, because I always think Lorna's comes up with some rippers for us. So Lorna, can you introduce yourself to Shiggy and explain to her what it's like living the life that you love, doing what you do?
Well, good morning, everyone. Morning, Shiggy. Nice to meet you. Well, look, I'm one of these ridiculously happy people because I am now living the life I love. But it's taken time. It's taken time to get there, and I think for me, one of the things is really being very honest with yourself and sitting down and thinking about, as you said, Cheryl, we have a ticking clock. We have to think, what do we really want out of our life, what our priorities are, and then go for it. Shiggy, I'm a portrait photographer and an artist. I'm part of a creative duo with my business partner, Lorraine. And this, every day we get up and we smile because we've made it our, how can I say, our full goal is to do simply what we enjoy. I don't know what more I can say than that, Cheryl. I suddenly feel incredibly smug. Well, I'm living the life I love. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for that, Laura. We're going to come to Beth Beamer. So Beth, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Shiggy. I'm a financial advisor. So I wouldn't say I'm living the life I love. There are aspects of it I love and aspects I'm not happy about. Truth be told, I'm happiest when I'm outside running, walking in the countryside, and I spend most of my day either in my car driving to see clients or sitting at my desk. Within my work, there are things I've identified. There are bits I love, which is the time with clients, and the bits I hate, which is the paperwork side of things. So I have managed to outsource as much of that as possible to try and get a better balance. But I think it would be a big stretch for me to say I'm living my perfect life.
Right. And that's great. It's all about honesty, isn't it? It's all about honesty. I can remember when I was 30 and I thought, I'm going to be really brave coming up to 30. I'm not going to cry, not going to have any time. I'm going to just breeze through this being 30. And as soon as I woke up, I started crying, and I cried all day. And when people said to me, happy birthday, I cried even more. And it was this realization I wasn't living the life I loved. I hated my life. And to get to 30 and think, I hate my life. I hate doing what I'm doing. I hate the person I'm living with. I hate where I'm at. And so the day after I was 30, I just sorted all the shit out, but I had to be brave about it and go and see a solicitor and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think, it in some ways it would have been easier I don't know if it would have been easier to stay stuck, but I certainly had to be brave to shift on and live the life I loved. And I think once you've done it once, it's easier to do, like a wash and repeat on it. So I'm going to come to you, Lynn. So our will writer. So people should be living their life that they love when they see you live, because they're planning for their getting past the death. So how does will writing and people planning for death got to do with people living the life they love?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Shiggy. Yes, so as Cheryl said, I'm a private client lawyer. So I think, to be fair, I am living quite a good life at the minute. I have done really since I become self-employed. I think for me, to live my best life was to be able to do more of the things around my children. So rather than be stuck in an office 9 to 5, missing out on the Christmas concerts, missing out on the school runs and school trips, that's what made me go self-employed, because I did feel that because I was missing all those things, I didn't have the life that I loved. So yeah, I am quite happy now at the minute. A bit like Beth, there are bits that are not so joyous, and that is the sitting at the desk doing all the paperwork and preparing. Unfortunately, though, there isn't a lot that I could possibly outsource because of the nature of the documents that I draft. It's not something that I would be able to outsource to anybody then. So yeah, not quite sure what I could do about that aspect of the non-enjoyment of the job, really.
Lovely, thank you, Lynn. And Miriam, and you've done that switch, haven't you, from being in a dark place to being in a light place. So would you like to introduce yourself to Shiggi?
Hi there. Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm an artist, happy artist, as I'm getting known, but it came about because of my journey on becoming a happy artist, materialized, I suppose, from losing my mum 10 years ago very suddenly. And it was awful, and I was in a horribly dark place and just felt really, I was devastated, absolutely devastated and heartbroken, and couldn't see the point or purpose in anything. But I had a 4-month-old daughter and a 3-year-old, so I didn't have the option just to wallow. And I would walk and run. I live in a beautiful, beautiful little village in Wales, and I would walk or run and just to get my anger and frustration out. But slowly I began to notice like the changing of the seasons and flowers blooming, and slowly started seeing beauty again in life. And slowly I just started to paint and start creating again. And I've always been creative in everything that I do, but I just explored the paint, and I wasn't painting with any purpose at all. I just painting, and it all just came out of me. And I loved playing with the colors. I loved being inspired by the amazing Mother Nature out there, and really looking at the colors, and it's all natural. It's all 100% natural. And it blows my mind every single day. And I've also started to do kind of wellness art workshops as well, which is really exciting. And I am living the life I love, because, you know, my daughter's poorly today, but I work from home, so I can look after her. If my son's in a cross-country competition, I can go and watch him do that. I can be as hands-on as I really, really wanted to be as a mum. And for that, I feel incredibly blessed and happy. But also being able to create art, it's what I do. It's what I have to do to survive, as it were. But I just get a buzz also sharing that with other people and helping them to unlock their creativity.
Lovely. Thank you, Miriam. And we're going to come to Lisa. So Lisa, I know you've gone through this sort of happy, sad, going to kill myself, going to kill other people. Now I'm happy again. So what's gone on for you?
I think with me, I know that I'm good at what I do. Sometimes I don't enjoy it, because I think that a lot of the time it's a lot of work for someone to do on their own. Especially because I do a lot of hourly work. So yeah, Shiggy, I do websites, and I do website support and all that type of stuff. But that's why I think that that's an area that I can improve in my business and outsource this year. Because I think that my actual life, I've got a very active social life. I'm always out for food. I'm always out with friends. My kids are older now and grown up. So to improve that, like maybe going on more holidays and things like that. I think that My husband needs to change his job because he only gets like 20 holidays a year or something. So I think he needs to change his job so we can go away more and do more things. But yeah, I think that working on, like Beth and Lynn, just outsourcing some things to outsource so I can have more of a balance and then be able to bring in more money to do the things that I do love. So yeah.
Lovely, thank you. And Steffi, so tell us how you are living the life you love.
I don't yet. I'm on my way there, but I really, really don't yet. I started doing what I love, but my visions of doing the or having the life I love is still quite a way away, which I'm working towards. And I think that mainly involves for me traveling. And so as a photographer for businesses, as a personal branding photographer, I think having customers abroad in the most beautiful places would literally give me a buzz in my business that I would absolutely love. Because currently, because I'm only 1.5 years in, it's all hustle culture. You've got to be glued to your laptop every single day. You've got to be on social media website every single day to make connections. You have to go networking. There is not a lot of time to yourself because you're building a business. So no, the answer is no. I'm not doing not having the life I love yet. I'm doing what I love, yes, but not the life I love yet.
Oh, that's lovely.
Not yet.
And we're going to come to Louise. So Louise, you're working with people who are living or wanting to live the life they love, and they come and see you and you almost have to do some breakthrough stuff with them. So tell us what it's like being Louise running a retreat, helping other people live life.
Well, mainly I have been just facilitating and help other people run retreats, other hosts run retreats. I've only run a few of my own so far, but I think that is much more what I'm about doing really is, providing the space. And yeah, I sort of got plans, but then definitely the kind of the life I love involves kind of sailing and traveling, and that's kind of the plan. So it's great that I'm doing what I absolutely love doing, and it's all working towards the plan, which is to travel. So yeah, it feels like it's all working really well at the moment, to be honest.
Lovely, thank you. And we're going to come to Ellen. So Ellen, how do you help people, and are you living the life you love?
Morning all. Yes, I do love the life I've got at the moment because mostly of the freedom that it gives me. I'm self-employed, as you all are, of course. I'm supporting women through menopause, and I do one-to-one coaching as well with relationship coaching and incorporating reflexology and nutrition as well into menopause support. So yeah, I find it very rewarding serving others. So that gives me a lot of happiness and satisfaction. But what I've learned within myself is what I used to think, oh, I'll be happy when I reach this goal or when I'll reach that goal. But I think the happiness comes in the journey, the daily journey that you go upon to reach that goal, because you'll miss life if you think I'll be happy when. I think we've got to be happy now because life is happening today. Yeah, that's the lesson I've learned on my journey, I think.
Thank you, Ellen. And over to you, the chef extraordinaire, Lucy Wiley. So living the life you love. Well, you've got to live the life you love because you eat the most amazing stuff. Have to marry you or at least move in, So Lucy, what are you up to?
Morning all. Excuse my attire. I've been in Glasgow for the last few days and we've also been partying, so I'm exhausted today. But yes, I am. I tell myself I'm happy every day because I know I'm happy. I've got a business around my children, which is the most important thing for me. I think if I had to say a but, being a mum of 4, and sort of, a sister to 3 brothers who like support, I have very little time for myself. And every year I tell myself I need to schedule time for myself. But I'm yet to achieve that. But that doesn't make me unhappy. It just makes me aware that there's not that time.
Lovely. Thank you for your honesty. So, Shiggy, you've got a really good feel of our very mixed bag of all sorts online this morning. And we'll be putting this out online so other people will be exploring this topic and getting back to you as well. So, Shiggy, over to you. So, shall I start with the, would you like to tell us your story? Because we can't wait to get to know a little bit more about Shiggy.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to go into my whole story because we don't have the time. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, so I'll just do a super brief version of everything I've been through and where I am now. My name is Shiggy. I am Dutch Kenyan, so born and bred in Kenya, Dutch by half adoption from my father's side, my stepfather's side. And yeah, I've been living in the UK for 21 years, and I'm not American. I know my accent sounds like it, but I am not American at all. I just lived there for like 10 months when I was 4 years old, and it stuck. I've been privately educated in British schools in Kenya and in the UK my entire life. So don't let this American whatever thing fool you. Yeah, so I run a few businesses. I have undiagnosed but diagnosed ADHD. So the idea of doing one thing only is the equivalent of death to me. So when people are just like, can you just focus on one thing? I'm like, no, we're different. You do your thing, I do my thing, and it's all okay. No one has to cry. So I run a business called AudioFi, which is a audio assets production company. Which is why the audio sounds so good, because I'm very particular about sounding good at all times, even if I'm like half sat in my pajamas doing a webinar. So that business edits audiobooks and promotes and produces podcasts, as well as creates private audio assets for people. So if you want to create audio courses, private email list, audio things, whatever, that's what I do. And we do all the audiogram things that you see on social media as well. I also run a business called Super Bodied Performance, which is a fitness executive conciergerie. Very fancy words. For just basically supporting people through their fitness requirements and lifestyle and mindset requirements. I don't like the word mindset. It has been sullied to beyond its original idea. But yeah, that service gives senior executives the opportunity to have their fitness looked after for them by someone who knows what they're doing, someone who also runs multiple businesses so they don't have time. Because I don't have time, but I make time. So I have clients who don't have time, and I show them how to make time. I also train people in rock climbing. So I boulder, which is the low level stuff, not the stuff with the harnesses and the rope and things. So I'm an instructor in that, and I currently work with a company part-time just because I like people. I think the thing that that we're looking at is like living a life you love. Being able to identify what you need is really important. So that's what I've done. Whilst I've got these businesses, which are all great, I don't need to see another human for both of those two businesses, really, and that's a bad thing for me because I like people, but I don't like people, if that makes sense. Any introverted people who are like, yeah, I can do the people thing, but I also need to go and sit in a little quiet room and read a comic book. Right, or whatever, drink a cup of tea, crochet, all those type of things. So I do that, and I'm a DJ as well, semi-professional. I've DJed internationally in Russia and America and back home in Kenya and Europe, and I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well, and I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor. So I don't have time, basically, but like. I do, you can make time for everything. Other aspects that I feel will probably be important to today's conversation. I heard one person talking about losing their mother quite suddenly, and that kind of giving you a kick up the butt, basically, to live in your present moments and kind of just feel your calling is what I kind of heard in that. backstory. My mother committed suicide in 2019, and I had to deal with that because she was living in America, and she very violently decided to, not committed, completed suicide, because that is the correct terminology. It's no longer committed. So one thing I'd like you all to take home today is around that conversation. It is a completion as opposed to a committal, because suicide used to be outlawed, which is mad. But it was an offense to end your own life. So we no longer say committed, we say completed. So my mother did that, and I had a lot of things to deal with in 2019, and then the pandemic happened. So, a lot of introflexion has happened. And yeah, I think I've managed to concisely put everything together in about 5 minutes. Is that good time?
That's really courageous. Well done. So do tell us why, living the life you love is so important to you as a topic, because I know you're about to make some very bold steps moving forward in your life.
Yes. So I was very frantically scribbling, you can't see that, notes on here as everyone was talking, because I liked that there were some key things that kind of popped up, both to celebrate and to challenge. Because sometimes we don't hear our own narrative when we're talking. So I think the first thing I wanna celebrate and reinforce is the idea of I'll be happy when. I really like the idea of killing that, because you never, like, if you say I'll be happy when, you're constantly forgetting that you're here now. So you're just ignoring the fact that, like, every day, every moment, you get to blink, you get to breathe, you get to think, you get to grieve, you get to be happy, you get to, scratch your nose. Stuff is happening right now that you're not even appreciative of because you're so content, like so focused on I'll be happy when. So you need to kill that, because that is robbing you of your life right now. The other aspect is, when it comes to finding time for yourself, are you saying no often enough and standing behind it? When someone's like, hey, can you do this? Your brain is like, I could. But, like, don't let that I could turn into something where now, like, your schedule's just open to people just grabbing you, as opposed to, like, yes at this time, no at this time. Like right now, I'm literally, this is here for a reason, because the back of my house is just a complete mess because I'm moving out of my house. I'm going home to Kenya for 6 weeks. Could I afford it? What with my tax bill? No. But I managed to find a tiny bit of money to buy a single way ticket. And the second that money came into my account, boom, I just took it out. And now I've got people going, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? I'm like, no, I can't, And standing behind your no, I can't, people will respect it. If people don't respect it, they're not your people, right? Don't be a cup of tea. Be a whiskey, okay? Be very particular. Be very savory and desirable to certain people and weird and not quite understanding to other people. That's good. Okay, if people come up and tell you that they don't like you, just be like, okay, I don't know who you are. Why are you pushing your problems onto me? It sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. But that's a whole other conversation. Other things, I mean, I've completely ignored the kind of living the life you love question, and I just gone into solutions. So for me, living the life you love doesn't mean you constantly have to be happy, because being in a constant state of anything is actually not being human. We decry people being in constant states of depression, right? You see someone sad, they make you uncomfortable, you say, cheer up, right? If you saw someone in a complete state of happiness, you would be like, oh, they're in a state of mania. Maybe they need to chill out, So you have to address and be aware that living a life you love comes with difficulties. It comes with moments where you don't know what you can outsource, which I'm just going to say we grossly overestimate what we cannot outsource. So with legal aspects, you could have not so much a personal assistant, but, a legal understudy or a paralegal or someone who can deal with sensitive documentation. it does take a little bit more kind of like moving aspects to it. I only know this because my mother was a paralegal and she did undertaking stuff as part of a part-time job. So I'm just throwing that out there. There are options. With finance though, I don't know much. My dad was the finance person, so we didn't talk much about that. But you can outsource whatever there is there. You can outsource. It's more of an aspect of, are you being overly precious with what you do? You know, because I was like that with sound engineering, because I am a sound engineer, and with the audio assets, producing audiobooks, I was like, no, I have my style and it's my style and no one else can replicate what I do. And my business mentor at the time was just like, you do realize that's bullshit? And I'm like, no, it's mine. It's my, I can't, like, literally, I just refuse to let go of the fact that I'm a genius when it comes to editing audio really quickly and no one else can do it. And yeah, my business mentor's just like, you are holding on to a hot coal and telling everyone else how hot it is. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm burning myself, aren't I? It's like, yeah, look at your bank balance. So the second I let go of that and realized if I just outsource that, like I take what I'm doing, I had someone watch a video of me working and they created an operation procedure out of how I work. And I hated it. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just like, how dare you, reduce me to a document of like what I can do. But now I replicate that. I give it to other people so they can do what I do. And then there's a checklist and it makes it super easy. So I got something in my eye. So don't overestimate what you can outsource, or underestimate what you can outsource. You can definitely do that. Release the pressure. It's a process. The journey is great, not the destination. It's something I've written and I've just seen and I think is important. A lot of us are so focused on being happy, on getting to this thing, on getting to doing the thing. You can do so many things on the way, and that way is the most enjoyable part. You had a crap day the day before. Now you wake up today and you decided, you know what? I'm going to have a little bit of a better day today. If you only did 2 things of your 50 gazillion long to-do list, great. Celebrate the 2 things you've done and then look at that list and get rid of 50% of it because you don't need to do it. It's one of those I could, I should. And it goes back to that, like, no, I don't need to do this, or someone else needs to do this. It's not part of what I need to do. Stop being apologetic. Or if I think the first or second person who was like talking about they're happy where they are, sit in it, be smug. Love your shit. Like, literally just own that you're doing what you want to do, because there are some people out there who are stuck and are in jobs that they just have to do because that's all they're capable of doing. All right. So I know the kind of idea of celebrating gratitude might seem a little bit woo, it might seem a little bit whatever, but it's true. Just look at where you are right now. Even if you're in the bottom of like barely being able to pay your bills or whatever, you're at the bottom of barely being able to pay your bills, okay, which is great. All right. And I know, like, if you try and compare yourself to other people, it does get a bit depressing. Yes. So don't do that. Just literally be happy with where you are and appreciate where you are right now. Okay. Because it can get worse, but it can also get better. Right. So the lady who does art and really celebrates the beauty in the world, I am with you. And I don't know if you noticed, I was like nodding my head frantically because I have a thing. Behind here, there's a window in my living room where there's a tree that is perfectly framed. And I used to film 14 seconds of it on my Instagram stories every day just because it's nice. And it was just a moment for me to pause whilst I was drinking my morning coffee. And I started sharing it, not thinking anyone cared. It's been 5 years and I have to share a 15-second clip of this freaking tree every day. Otherwise people send me a message going, is the tree okay? Has it been cut down? Has the tree been cut down? Where's the tree? I need to see the tree. And I'm just like, what the have I done? Like, just this random moments of calm that I wanted to share with people is something we all need, And this tree changes in seasons. So during winter, not much happens, but people still need to see it. And then spring, it kind of like shows its plumage of like new leaves. And then autumn, it turns into like this fiery tree before it dies. And it's just like a cycle and a reminder that you need to live now. So my thing is I love butterflies, because I don't know if you guys think about the life process of butterflies. They are impossible creatures, okay? Because you have this little caterpillar, right, that goes and does caterpillar things. Sometimes they're pretty, sometimes they're terrifying. And then when it's time, you don't know when the time is, but it's time, they turn into goo, okay? This animal turns into a little chrysalis and turns into goopy goo. And then from the goo, it turns into a butterfly. And you're just like, how does that happen? So every time I see a butterfly, like I'll literally just be like, you're impossible. And I love you. So yeah, just appreciating nature. I think if you ever have moments where you're not happy and where things are tough, you can do so many things. One is just go outside and appreciate the world we live in. You know, because there's some places where just everything is just absolutely horrible. If that's, you know, if you're already in a place of beauty, and you take it for granted, stop it. Go and help somebody, right? Just go and reach out and call a friend. I know we're in an age of text messages and fleeting voice messages. No, call somebody. Maybe that person freaks out and looks at their phone and going, what the fuck does this person want? Fine, call them again. All right. And then have a conversation just for 2 minutes, 1 minute, being, hey, I was thinking about you today and I just wanted to see how you were doing, you know. And they could be like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I have to go do a thing. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I just wanted to see how you were. I miss you. Let's do a coffee and then go on. Like, just reach out to someone else and just like, you know, just do a little poke onto someone else's life. So yeah, ebb and flow is crucial. Outsourcing, travel. Ooh, that's something I heard. What I heard from there was a chicken and egg situation. Like, for this to happen, this needs to happen, because then this needs to, it doesn't work like that, because you'll be stuck in that circle, that perpetual circle. Like with what I'm doing to go back home to Kenya, it wasn't a case of I'm going to wait until I have. I'm like, I have DJ'd, I have this money, I've just bought a ticket. And then everything else like checks in like Legos to make this situation happen. Because if you throw down 800 pounds on a ticket, you're not going to be like, oh, I can't go. Unless you have 800 pounds to throw away, in which case, like, you got bigger problems. But, you know, if you want to go and do a thing, if you, you know, if work is going great, but you don't have time for yourself, set a date and put something on that date. That means if you don't do it, you are losing a lot of freaking money, because that thing is a great way just for you to put everyone else in check. So if you want to have, I'm going to hover on your name because I'm calling you out, Lucy, if you want to, if you want to have some time off, right? And you have kids and you have your brothers who need support, set a date in summer, and go and find a really fancy spa or something, right? Where you go to a train station, you order a taxi, you go to the spa, you have a spa weekend or something, right? And you throw down money for that, okay? And it's in the calendar, it's 6 months away. So everyone knows in 6 months' time, there's going to be 3 days that Lucy is going to go and have time for herself, right? And you need to hold that space for yourself as well, and not let anyone creep into it, and not let, you know, a friend be like, oh, let's go do it together. Like, if you want to do it on your own, say, no, this is for me. I'm sorry. No excuses, no nothing. Just like, this is for me. It's in 6 months' time. If you want to do something before then, there's 6 months. We can go have a girly weekend and do it. Like, there's time for all of that. But that 3-day weekend in a spa where you have a bat phone, I have a festival phone, right? Which is not a smartphone. I've got this horrible thing that I'm surgically attached to, but I have a bat phone that's like an old school Nokia phone, right? That has a SIM number on it that only 5 people have, right? So if it's for you, it's like your partner, your kids, and your brothers, right? Because if they need you, then they'll use that number to get you. And if you have a call from that number whilst it's your spa day away, you know they need you, right? But you put rules in that. It's like, If you need to know where the toilet paper is, don't call me. Right? That is not an emergency, right? Set really aggressive boundaries around it because it's only 3 days in 6 months' time. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now because just Lucy, I've felt that. You got to do it, and the same with like, where are you at? Yeah. So, Steffi, with your photography work, right? Yes, you got to hustle. Okay. Yes, you got to do the things and everything. If your ideal client is somewhere else, right? Go travel to that somewhere else and get a vibe for that country first. If you've got your network, lean onto your network and outreach to them going, hey, so I'm interested in possibly doing some work in Italy. You know, I'm looking for clients in Italy, and tell your network that's what you're looking for, right? And they will find stuff for you, right? You can fly over to Italy. You can fly over to wherever you are for a weekend and do some scouting, because you don't know what you don't know. So if you have this ideal, you need to go and feel a light version of it. I'm going to Kenya for 6 weeks to feel a light version of if I can live there, what their internet is like, what the people are like, and if I get treated as a foreigner, even though I'm Kenyan, I just can't speak the language. So with the chicken and egg situation, you need to go there first to get a vibe and put the energy out there. So then people can kind of be like, oh, this is where she's at now. How can I help? You know, that's the whole point of our networks. Our networks are there to help us and for us to help them. So if you can't even lean on the network you've created, what's the point, right? I know everyone in here, you know, if someone said, I need help with X, Y, Z, all of you guys would be like, oh, I know a person, or I don't know a person, but I'll just like do a little thunderclap in my little space of people. And then, you know, that reciprocates. So don't be afraid to lean out, because being an island is the least human thing you can do. We're not islands. Cool. So I think I've covered, oh yeah, release the pressure. What does that mean? Release the pressure. Yeah, chill out. Life is too short. Life is way, way, way too short. Have moments to breathe, have moments to do your own thing, have a silly dance if you want. You can literally change your state instantly if you wanted to. I do it every morning. I have a very, very ridiculously cheesy playlist on my Spotify that is my alarm, and it starts playing. So I'll have Five and Bewitched and Cyndi Lauper on there, and you don't want to see it. My partner thinks I'm crazy, but I will, like, as my kettle is boiling, I will just be wiggling around and singing and just like deciding I'm having a good day today, you know. And you can do that. So take ownership of that. There's no such thing as perfect, so release that kind of ideology. Nothing's perfect. Even being happy is not perfect. Have you ever ugly cried when you're happy? Yes, I think some of us have. Like you're so stressed out, everything has gone to shit, but something just worked, and the relief you get from that makes you cry ugly crocodile tears, but you are so insanely happy. All right, why do we do that? Like, it's not perfect. If something is great and we cry, it's like, isn't that the weirdest kind of like oxymoron out there? I feel it addresses the fact that things aren't perfect. So just go with it. Don't hold on to this idea of perfect. Hold on to the idea of done, right? Done is better than perfect, right? Because if it's not done, you're procrastinating. I'm just saying that for myself. I don't know if anyone else needs to hear that. Finding things you love is important. As we get older, I don't know if you're noticing, our connections and our pool of friends starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It doesn't have to be like that. Do something new. Try something new. If you've got the time and space for it, go on Meetup. I like Meetup, and just go look for something in your area, something to do. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. Go do the thing. Go socialize. I don't know if you want to try get back into a light sport, like go experiment to see what badminton is like, or a little small Toastmasters group, or a small stand-up comedy group or something. If anything that I've just said terrifies you, go do it. Like the comedy thing and the Toastmasters thing, I know a lot of people are just like, I don't want to talk in front of people. It's like, well, go give it a go. Like, they'll be the best group to talk in front of, because they'll tell you how great you are in certain aspects and how to improve in other aspects, which might help your business. All right, being able to show up more like yourself. I'm only saying that because I've done it. And I hated every second of it, but as a result, I got better at speaking. And And yeah, I think I've covered most of the things that kind of got me a little bit like, ooh. For myself, my ultimate goal, because I realize I haven't actually answered a question again, ADHD, is to be in a space when I go home, being able to either create a rock climbing and hiking ecotourism space on the family farm where people from the UK and Europe or whatever can come to the farm, learn more about farming, ecological farming, vertical farming. So we've got water towers that I'm looking at investing in to create a high yield of crops and produce for the village. I'm not even creating it to sell. I'm creating it for the village to actually have self-sustainable food beyond animals. And yeah, and then like Kenya's beautiful and the rock climbing in Kenya is insane and no one's touching it. Which is why I'm working with the rock climbing company now, because I'm very selfish. Be selfish. Very selfish in my long-term plan of bringing people from this company I work with as investors for them to invest in this business and then to bring a chain of people from the UK and Europe to Kenya, and for Kenya people who love the outdoors to get qualifications in various mountaineering aspects so they can come to Europe for work. All right, so that's one aspect that I want to do. And then the other aspect, because I love teaching, if you haven't noticed, is with my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to create a mixed movement art retreat, which includes people who want to do yoga retreats. They can come down to Mombasa on the coast. So this is another location. So connecting with the yoga community, connecting with the martial arts community. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo, Karate, Kung Fu, whatever people want to do, they can come to this space and rent it out. 60% of what they put in goes into the local community, which also includes girls and children coming to the center at night so they can do their homework under normal lighting rather than kerosene lighting, which is a huge cause of childhood deaths in Kenya because they're in small spaces. And do you guys know, like the kerosene lanterns, they're like old school, super old school, where you just have a tiny wick at the bottom and this huge base of just like lighter fuel. And the gas that comes out of that is carbon monoxide. So these kids are basically poisoning themselves trying to do homework at night. And I don't like that. So I'm doing something about it. So they come to the space, they do their homework, they have one hot meal, so they're guaranteed a dinner at least, and if they want to have a shower, they can have a shower in this space.
I was just
so that's giving back to the community of
I was just going to ask,
yes.
because we're going to be running short on time. I really wanted an opportunity
Sure.
for people to ask some questions before we
Yeah,
go.
I didn't know that. If you told me at the beginning, I would have been like, yeah, I'll do like a 12-minute spiel of everything and then I'll shut up. But yeah, so that's everything that I'm doing. I hope that's been helpful. I will now shut up.
We're going to pull you in to answer some questions because I'm sure after people have listened to you, they've got some questions that is burning away. So whilst people are thinking of their questions, I'm going to ask you a question. And I would say it took me a long time to realize that happiness wasn't from outside in, it was from inside out. So I'd really like some ideas you have that can help us with this happiness or, self peace and preservation around working from inside out. What tips could you give us from how we can work from inside out as opposed to always expecting from outside in?
The immediate one is being appreciative of the body you have. And just really looking at your body and being like, holy crap, I get to stand up. I get to walk, take a deep breath and be like, oh, my chest doesn't hurt. Being able to smell things, just like immediately just grounding yourself is the quickest way just to kind of find where you are. It's something that happens like if you have a panic attack. It's something that I do when I used to work as a bouncer is I'll ask people what they see behind me whilst they're freaking out. So you do that for yourself. Like, what do you see in front of you? What do you feel inside of yourself? What do you just name 5 things that you're really thankful of that your body is giving you every day. Don't focus on the bad thing. Just literally focus on what are you able to do right now that you're super thankful of.
I love that saying as well. You might not be where you want to be, but at least you're not where you were. And so enjoy where you
Mhm.
are. Yeah, so precious. So, Ellen, I know you're a coach working with people, so you must have lots of questions around this whole theme of happiness and joy and goal setting and, just being appreciative of who you are. So, do you have any questions you would like to pose to Shiggy?
Shiggy, thank you. I loved your talk with us, and I feel more normal now than ever because you do so many different things, and I do very different things. And sometimes I feel, oh, am I a freak for doing so? Should I focus on one thing? But it's good to listen to someone else that got vast different interests and can do a bit of each. But my fascination with that, and I know how difficult it is doing it myself, is time management. How do you manage it all without getting overwhelmed?
I don't know if I can show you this. I have a Google Calendar that is literally my life. And a fun fact is, my biological father, when I finally met him 5 years ago, showed me his calendar, and it was exactly the same. So let's see if we can go. Yeah, we can go into the past. So if we go like this, every single week, not that, every single week has things put. It's really hard doing this back to front. Let's just see that. There's always something scheduled in. I schedule in my meditation. So at the top, that little gray line is meditation, and that little gray line at the bottom is when I stop working. So I like hard boundaries, and I said this to Lucy, and it's important. Hard boundaries are so important, and you need to have those hard boundaries with yourself, not just everyone else. Like, you need to take ownership and like not have that guilt. When you stop working, you stop working. If you need to do this, you do this. If you need to have time, I have time in there, you didn't see it, to go play on my PlayStation. And I play my PlayStation for 30 minutes because I need the ferrets to just go and do something else. After those 30 minutes, I go make a drink or whatever, and then it's my other thing that I'm doing. So understand how you can break between one job and the other job, and have actual like habit forming bricks that your brain understands. Like, when we wake up in the morning and we brush our teeth, like that's actually got a subconscious trigger behind it that you're starting your day. All right. And then if you go out and you've forgotten to brush your teeth, how weird do you feel? Right. If you had to rush out the door and you're just like it literally, there's this little thing in the back of your head going, you forgot to do the thing. So you might go out and brush some toothpaste and a toothbrush, just like start your day at 2 PM. So your subconscious is really strong. So just like understand you need to be strict with yourself first before outsourcing strictness to everyone else.
And you also set alarms up as well, don't you, in your diary system?
Yes. Yes. Also, my smart speaker, I'm trying not to say her name because she's very sensitive, is also, I have alarms that are associated with various Spotify playlists. So for me, I have that subconscious association. So super cheese in the morning, it's a feel good morning. Very serious drum and bass, I'm working on an audiobook. So yes, I outsource that, but I've done it with myself first.
How do we get over this guilt of actually putting ourselves in this almost like running diary for the day?
Being your own aggressive mother and telling yourself that it needs to be done. I know that's a flippant kind of thing, but seriously, it's the guilt will be there. But if you need to write down what you're doing, so I've got my e-version, but I'm trying to find my little. I think I've binned all of them. I have one left over. So I have this little thing, a daily plan, and then for the day, you've got stuff. You've got your to-do list, kind of top 3 things, this kind of stuff, and then your day-by-day hour stuff. Initially, it's going to be tough. Initially, you're going to have the guilt of, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to go do the other. But if you're running a business, the main thing about business is seeing what your bank account is saying. So you ask yourself the question, if I go do all these flippant things, is that actually going to increase my baseline? No. If you do a social post, you're doing a social post because it's an engagement aspect, it's an engagement point, but you don't need to spend 15-20 minutes on it. You do 2 minutes, it's done, you move on. So initially it's going to be tough because you will have a screaming, guilty child in your head that says, no, you must do everything, but you have to be strict with yourself. And as you review each day, if things haven't worked, you have either this paper version, or it's in whatever kind of management system you use on your phone or your computer that shows you where stuff worked and where stuff didn't work. And you can check in with yourself. Where the stuff did work, were you happy with the work? Yes. Then you replicate that and you keep on doing that. The stuff that you weren't happy with, maybe there's something that you needed, you pull that in. Like I said ages ago, you don't know what you don't know. So you have to try stuff and really just get kind of like granular with certain spaces so you can actually keep on moving forwards.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to do a round robin with everyone now for them to share what they learned this morning and how they're going to put it to work. So Sarah, I'm going to come to you. What have you learned this morning? What little gem have you learned and how are you going to put it to work?
First of all, my one gem is that I'm going to be following you, Shiggy, because I want to know what you're going to be planning to grow vertically in Kenya. Okay. It's all about virtual gardening these days, and I'm really keen to see what you're doing. So
fantastic.
I'm really happy. But I've got loads of notes. I love the one where you I'll be happy when, so stop doing that. Because yeah, we've got to be in the moment, grateful for today. So yeah, thank you. I've really enjoyed it listening to you. Good luck with all your travels. I'm looking forward to seeing how you get on.
Fantastic. Coming to you, Beth.
Thank you.
Beth Beamer, what would you like to share that has had impact on you this morning?
I think, like Shiggy, I keep quite a detailed calendar, so I know exactly what I've been doing and when, but I never actually take the time to go back and see what worked and why. So I think I need to find some time to go back and figure out what the good days were, why they were good, and how I replicate it.
Thank you.
Do it.
It's a gem, isn't it? And Beth is such a good organizer as well. So when she's implemented that, we'll all want to know how she did it. And she can tell us how she did it. Thank you. So Miriam, over to you. What have you learned? What's your gem this morning? How are you going to put it to work?
Gosh, so much. I think what was nice was you understanding the wonder of nature and Mother Nature outside and everything like that. I love your analogy of the butterfly and the caterpillar. It's just, that's it, isn't it? I mean, it's incredible. It is incredible. And then if you look at the colors and the detail of a butterfly, and it's Mother Nature, it's not manufactured, and I just think that is the key to happiness. Like, go and just see all those amazing things out there. So yeah, I'm just going to go out for a walk soon as well and appreciate things even more than I already do. So thank you so much for today. It's been absolutely amazing. And if you need an artist in Kenya to come and do a wellness art retreat, then I'd love to come and see what Mother Nature's got out there.
Lovely. Thank you.
For sure. Definitely.
Thank you. And coming to you, Lornell, what gems have you picked up this morning?
I think it's wonderful to know I'm not the only person who wakes up to cheesy music in the mornings, because I have my 80s dance playlist pumping out every day, and it really does set you up. And it's the affirmation today, that we really do have, pardon the pun here, but we have to dance to the beat of our own drum, that we are in control. We have to be in control of that drum and not be constantly trying to please, everybody else. And I think, Shiggy, the line that you came out with that I loved most of all today is, don't be a cup of tea, be a whiskey. And I love that. I feel like I need to have a T-shirt with that on it. I'm going to pinch that off you, because I joke, but I love that. So thank you.
Lovely, thank you. And Lynn, can you share your gems of learning with us this morning?
There is quite a few, to be fair. I think the biggest one for me is actually penciling time out in the diary for myself. Like Beth, my diary is strict. I do have to put meetings in, and deadlines and things have to be done. in a certain order. So I am going to start penciling in some time for myself to just go outside and actually have a walk, because I don't think I ever just go for a walk on my own. And I think that would be really, really something to help clear my mind. And I also love the idea as well of just not thinking, if I had this, my life would be better. If I made this amount of money, my life would be better. If I did this, and just start being more grateful for what I do actually have.
Thank you. And coming to you, Lisa, your gem of learning from this morning.
I think, like Lorna, I like to be a whiskey bit. But I think for me, it was when Shiggi, you mentioned about like you need to be the aggressive mother to the screaming child in your head, and that's what I need to be strict with myself, and that's what I'm like that with my kids. So why not with the screaming child in my head?
Great, thank you. And Ellen, your gem of learning from this morning.
Well, there have been so much, taken loads of notes, but I think the kind of accepting fully where you're at right now, kind of radical acceptance of your situation, whatever it is, and being comfortable with it, not judging it. Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much. Brilliant.
You're welcome.
And Louise, our lovely.
Well, first of all, I'm also from Kenya, so I feel like we could do some stuff together.
Yes, absolutely.
My sister lives in Mombasa as well, so yeah, I'm kind of going slightly off. Oops. But and I teach yoga, so I feel like we could have a connection. Possibly could try and work something out along those lines. I do go back there. But my gem of learning was the 2 minutes for a social media post, because I swear I take so much longer than that. And yeah, I need to just narrow that down. That was, I'm definitely going to do that. Just bang them out there, because I feel like I waste time on my phone, and I don't really, and I hate that because I have so many wonderful things to do, but I do get sucked into the social media thing a bit too much, and I don't like it. So just bang them out there. That's my gem of learning. But I would really like to connect with you about other stuff, and possibly you doing some stuff up here if you come back retreat wise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. And Lucy Mortgage Lady, who I know jumped in late, but hopefully you've got some gems.
Yeah, sorry I was a little bit late. Got stuck on a call, typical. But yeah, I think my main one is more of like blocking some time out as well, because I'm a little bit OCD where the end of the day I feel like my emails need to be done, and I think I'm yeah, and I think I overload myself. So last night I did the dreaded thing of looking at my emails before bed, and yeah, I didn't get any sleep. So I think I need to start blocking time out, and yeah, going from there really.
Well done. And Lucy, our amazing chef, what did you pick up this morning, Lucy?
Oh, Shiggi, honestly, I can't thank you enough for your time. I could literally listen to you all day. Everything you said has just hit a core with me, and I've just written down so much. I love the thing about, really hard boundaries, self-ownership. I love the fact that you've scheduled in the time, even though you meditate, you scheduled it in. I started a Joe Wicks 2 weeks ago, and I've managed to do it once. Tell myself every day I need to do it, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a commitment to schedule it in. And I love the thing about saying 5 things that you appreciate about your body, because I constantly tell myself what I need to change about my body. And I'm wondering, if I change that thought process, then maybe I'll actually get where I'd like to be with my body.
Oh,
sure. I'm just going to put one little thing in there, because like I've had this as well. Do you remember what you were saying about your body 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Right. And it's changed. And you're like, 10 years ago, you wasted time not appreciating your body, and now it's changed.
Yeah.
And then like think about what you're saying right now. You're going to be saying like some other stupid stuff in 10 years time as well. So you need to stop that, Because as
Yeah.
time goes on, things start breaking down. So
Yeah.
you need to just appreciate what you got now, because it's gonna go. So like, yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, Shiggy, we can't thank you enough. There's been lots of lovely learning, and we all want to wish you much success in your journey of travel. We just know it's going to be amazing, and we probably want to know what's happened. So after your trip, you'll have to come back onto Iron Woman now, and we're going to have to, we would love to know, what secrets did you unpack for yourself, lessons you learned, people you met, goals you achieved, and all of that. So thank you, Shiggy. We're going to put our hands together and say, well done, Shiggy. Thank you so much. And look forward to hearing from you after your visit. So thank you, everyone, for turning up this morning. As you know, we have an event on Friday in the Heronston. They're asking me for menu options, so I will be chasing you. And next week, we have another amazing lady coming to share her expertise with us. And she's going to be teaching us how we can develop multiple sources of income in our business. So another really exciting topic. Enjoy the day ahead and look forward to
Cheryl, can I just ask how we get hold of Shiggy? How do we communicate? Just on Instagram, or is there any?
I have already invited Shiggy into the academy. So she's already in the academy. So just hook up with her there, and then you can spin off into other platforms. But I think Shiggy's put her details in the chat box. So perhaps you might want to grab her email. There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, don't spam me though, please. That's my personal email.
Thank you, Shiggy. It's been an absolute delight, and enjoy your trip to Kenya and everything else that travels alongside.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
See
So
you soon.
looking forward to seeing
Bye.
you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Shiggy. That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. Really, really appreciated it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. I still can't get my microphone to work. Can I plug it in now?
What? How?
On Zoom.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm just going to take Louise out.
You're still recording.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's all right.